Welcome, guys, back to I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine. Today we are welcome with the Juice King, Joey Pierson. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, something we've talked about a little bit here and there. Last night we got to make it happen. I'm excited. I'm excited to get you on here and talk about your career so far. Before we get started, is there any like social medias or upcoming events, anything like that you want to plug and let the fans know where they can find you?
My Instagram is Joey_Pearson. My Facebook is just Joey Pierson, and the next show I have is this Friday at Ultimate Combat Gauntlet.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, I always start at the beginning, and for us as fans, we always fall in love with it somewhere. Where did Joey fall in love with professional wrestling?
Ever since I was like 4 or 5 or so, my brother, who's actually also a wrestler, uh, I just walked in the living room and it was on, and then just he got me hooked on it, and now I'm here.
Okay. Who were some of your favorites or biggest inspirations growing up watching it?
Jeff Hardy, Chris Jericho, Christian Cage.
Okay. What like growing up, was it something that you thought about like, hey, this is something I'd want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. When did that become like a reality? Like when did it sink in that you could actually try it?
Uh, I feel like just I feel like that moment was kind of like a couple years after that when I first got introduced to independent wrestling.
Okay. What was that at CSW or is it somewhere else?
No, it was actually like two instances where it happened
Okay.
because I just saw like two video clips on YouTube, and it was the first one was at like an independent show when the Young Bucks like super kicked an 8 year old,
Okay.
and yeah, I know. And then the other one I think it was from like a PWG show or something. It's where the guy like throws a leg, he catches it, and then he's like, "I got your leg. There's nothing you can do." And then he goes for the NZ and he ducks it.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
reason it's those two is because that was my introduction to indie wrestling, and that's when I realized like, oh, like there's like smaller shows and there's like training schools and like you can actually like do this.
Okay. When did you go to your first indie event?
My first indie event was see, it was the I believe it was 2022. It was like CSW's Halloween show that year.
Okay. Is that whenever you found out that they were training, or how did you find a training school?
I just looked up like wrestling schools near me, and like freelance came up, uh, LLC came up, and then CSW came up, and I chose CSW.
Okay. What went into that decision? What made you decide CSW over some of the others?
I actually reached out to CSW and freelance,
Okay.
and freelance didn't get back to me, but CSW got back to me like the day of, so I
Okay.
just came and checked out the school.
How old were you when you started wrestling or training?
16.
16? Okay.
Yeah.
How did your parents react whenever you said, "Hey, I want to do this"? Were they supportive?
Yeah, they're supportive.
Okay. Okay. How fast was it before you started actually training and getting into the ring?
Uh, Maybe like a week after my 16th birthday, I think.
Okay. Okay. Um, how long have you participated in training with CSW so far?
About a year and a half now.
Year and a half. Okay. What was your first reaction meeting somebody like Steve Boz?
Uh, I mean, it was cool. He's a cool guy.
Cool. Okay. Um, I know another trainer there, Axel Rico.
Yep.
What was it like working with Axel and meeting Axel? He's a pretty big friend of the channel.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Axel's a pretty cool guy. He's been in it, for quite a minute now, and man, his cardio drills they'll blow you up, definitely. But
How, sorry, go ahead.
but no, it's just like the spots that he does, and then just like it doesn't happen too often, but whenever he just kind of like sits down and just talks about like his experience doing like extra work or just like the little stuff like that, like it's he has a lot of experience, so hearing it from like anyone who's wrestled on TV or like anything like that, it's always like really interesting.
Who has been some of the guys that maybe helped guide you the most so far in your wrestling journey?
Like besides the trainers or like with the
Yeah.
Rafael Quintero,
Okay.
he helped me a lot. Quintero, Jack Valor, Eddie Grayson, because like right because Eddie's only like less than a year older than me, and Jack's like 2 years older than us. But we're like the three youngest guys at the school. Like we're still teenagers, so since we're within the same like age, sort of, we just like hit it off like immediately. And like really early into my training, like the three of us just became like really close.
Being so young in training, does that like bring a challenge, especially being in there with some of these guys that's been doing it for multiple years, if not decades?
Yeah. I'd say yeah.
Okay. What's the biggest like difficulty with that, would you say?
I'd say probably just like keeping up with everybody else, like especially
Okay.
when you first start out, because wrestling's like go go go, and obviously it's like you're trying your best, but it happens.
Okay. Who's some of I know like CSW brings in former WWE talent, legends, AEW stars. Who are some of the guys that you've been able to pick their brain while they're backstage?
Uh, I mean, as far as backstage go, it's just like a hi and goodbye. But like I've done like a good amount of their like seminars.
Okay. Okay. Do you have a favorite seminar so far?
Robbie Eagles.
Robbie Eagles? Okay. I
Yeah.
bet that one be good. What
Oh,
what
dude, it
about
was
Robbie stuck out?
just the fact that we like sometimes seminars will be drills and talking, but there's like kind of a ratio to how much. But I feel like with Robbie Eagles, it's like it was a good amount of drills and stuff, but it was also just like talking and the advice that he gave us of like what companies are looking for. Like it just definitely like I feel like every seminar that I did, I haven't done too many, but I've done a Leo Ross seminar, Kalisto, Robbie Eagles, and I did an EC3 seminar, and like all of them were helpful in their own like way or to a certain extent. But at least for me personally, it's like I feel like with the Robbie Eagles one, I got my money's worth.
Okay. Where did the Juice King moniker come from? What made you decide to start bringing juice boxes out to the ring and throwing them to the crowd?
We basically started like back in like November of 23. Me and Jack Valor went to a SmackDown event,
Okay.
and then it's like right next to Allstate Arena, so there's like the Target next to it.
Yeah.
So of course, when the show ends, you everyone just goes like to the Target, and then me and Jack we were just like just hanging out, in the Target, just having fun, and we went to the juice aisle. So he took a picture of me like holding the juice like as a joke, and he put it in this group chat that we're in, and then my friends just started calling me the Juice King as a joke, and then when it was time, like once I started doing like practice matches and stuff like that, I would do the Juice King stuff like during the practice matches, and then they'd be like, "Oh, you should do it as your character." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it," and I did, and they all loved it.
How long after training did you get to participate in your first matchup?
About 9 months.
9 months. How are you feeling walking out from like behind that curtain the first time in front of the crowd?
Oh God, I was so nervous.
Yeah. Um, Afterwards, after you're done, after it's all said and done, what was the feedback you got? Do you
It
remember?
was, it was all like positive. Like obviously, it's like nitpicks, like oh this, that, and other thing. But like, I mean, I was happy with it, and Like it was mostly just like good job, or like for your first match it was pretty good. Like obviously, I haven't rewatched it like in a minute, but even with the last time I rewatched it, I was just like, yeah, I could have done this differently, or yeah, this was kind of weird. But it's like it happens to everyone.
Okay. Uh, so like I've noticed like a lot of CSW, especially with younger guys or guys just starting off, there's a lot of battle royals and stuff. What's it been like for you being in the mix with the in the battle royals and trying to work your way up the card and into the main card?
Hmm. Just like experience, just going out there and doing your thing, whether it be like the royal or the main card, and like just the people in general, like all the like the futures royal guys that I've been in there with, like they're extremely nice people. So it's real nice.
What was it like for you whenever you found out that you was going to be on the actual main card for the first time?
Hmm. I was pretty shocked, but I was like
Okay.
really, really excited and nervous.
Which card was that?
It was the October show from a couple months ago.
Okay. I think that was my first show. Was it uh the showdown? The
No, no, no,
showdown
it was
card?
one before that.
The one before that? Okay, so that was my second show. Um I saw you the next show. My bad. Um couple I think it was either last month or the month before you took on Bruss on the main
Hmm.
card. You challenged Bruss. What's your experience like working with him? Because I know he's also fairly new to this and he's caught on to it pretty quick. What's your experience like with Bruss Hamilton?
It was fun.
Okay. I know that was one of those where you was the fall guy. Bruss got to throw you around a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, I want to give you props though, because selling for a man like that, you did a phenomenal job.
thank you.
Uh, who taught you some of those the secrets or the nuances to selling?
So like Boz and Hades.
Boz and Hades. Okay.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite match so far, your career? Favorite moment so far?
Favorite. Let's see. I mean, my favorite like moment was like getting on the CSW main card.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was definitely my favorite moment.
Do you have a favorite match?
Favorite match is either it's two. It's either Second City Showdown, the scramble that I was in with
Okay.
KJ Carter and uh 12 gauge, JJ Garrett, them.
Okay.
Because I've wanted to work those guys for a while, but also like I wanted to work JJ Garrett for a while. So, even if it wasn't in singles, like it still meant like a lot to me.
Okay. Outside of CSW, where else can like have you been most prominent so far?
Galley Lucha Libre, Honor Among Wrestling. I wrestled for Destination 6 like not too long ago again.
Okay.
So just, making my rounds, just doing what I can.
Okay. What are some of your biggest goals for this year?
For this year, I'd say just wrestle more, just wrestle as much as I can.
Okay. Okay. Um, Joey, I have ran out of questions for now. But I'd love to have you back on, especially,
Hmm.
maybe in a year from now, do a little checkup, see where you're at, see where the progress is, if that's something you'd be interested in doing.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be fun.
Sounds good. I know we did it at the beginning of the show, but just in case they missed it, would you like to just shout out to the social medias again and let the fans know your next event, stuff like that, just one more time?
Yeah, my Instagram is Joey_Pierson, and my Facebook's Joey Pierson, and my next event is going to be this Friday at this promotion called Ultimate Combat Gauntlet.
Sounds good. Joey, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I go to all the CSW events, so I'm looking forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you.
Sounds good. I'll leave this at see you soon, Joey.
See ya.